You've seen videos where they tell you that it's almost impossible to find the houses that you want to flip if you want to do a renovation. They don't say impossible, but they say you have to do a million flyers and basically get them before they hit the market or they're no good. I'm here to tell you that's not necessarily true. If you're in a good market that has homes available, you can find them. I'm in a relatively mid-sized market, and there are homes available on the MLS, available today that you could go out there and renovate and make money on. So I'm going to show you a home that's available right now, on the market today. If you're an investor and you want to invest in it, you can reach out to me and we can get started. So let's do a little magic here of the internet, and there we are. We have the numbers for the property that is currently on the market. Green Lawn. After repair value, how much will it be worth after we finish fixing it up? $215,000 to $225,000. We're going to use the lower side of that. Helps us in the future. You'd rather get more than you planned than less. Renovation costs, $75,000. We've already gone over this with the contractor, already walked the property, already been there and done that. So let's break this down. We have the cash side and the lender side. We'll start with the cash numbers because those will translate over to the lender side when we get there. So you're a cash buyer. You have a large investment. You want to make some good returns. That magic 15 to 20% we were talking about. Buy-in. We're going to start and do this whole thing in reverse. That way it'll help us get to our numbers a little better. How much can you sell it for? $215,000. Take out the agency costs. That's 5% on my side. That's how much I charge to manage the renovation for you. And the buyer agency at 3%. I suggest that the seller pay that and be prepared to pay that because it helps buyers if they don't have to pay for a bunch of out-of-pocket costs. Helps them to actually be able to afford the home that they're buying. And that's the home that you're selling. So just plan for it, and that way it won't be a problem for you. It's always up to you. Minus $5,000, that's attorney fees, plus closing cost concession maybe that you're giving to the buyer. So I plan for that. You'd rather overpad the numbers than underpad the numbers. You'd rather have extra fees in there that you don't pay at the end than fees that you weren't expecting that you do pay at the end. So that gets us $192,000. That's how much we're bringing home after closing. So how much did we spend? $75,000 reno plus $3,000. That $3,000 is our holding costs. How much electricity, water, all that stuff for an 8-month period. That's what I plan for. About 3 months of renovation, 3 months to sell it. Let's say another 2 months to close on the home. Could be quicker than that and you make more money. But like we said, overpad, don't underpad. So that's $3,000 for the holding costs plus staging the house. Stage the house. It'll help us sell faster. If you have the budget for it, stage it. It helps people see that space, all these open concept homes, helps people to see themselves in a lot better. $5,000. We have your appliances. Reno doesn't usually include your appliances when you're talking about the contractor numbers. So that's your appliances plus your closing cost on the buying side, your attorney fees. Plus $80,000. That's how much we have for the buy-in here. We've already done some number crunching, and I know this will work for it, so cut some time out for you. $80,000. That equals $163,000. This number, this underline, that's how much is out of pocket for the cash buyer. That's how much cash you're investing. That's your actual investment number and what you're going to be basing your percentages on. So we take what we're going to get back from closing, from what we spent, and you get $29,800. So, is this a good investment for the cash buyer? 15 to 20% is $24,450 to $32,600. This falls in the middle of that at right around 18%. It's like 18.2%. So yes, it will be a good investment. And that also means we have some room to play in case the seller doesn't want to sell it for $80,000. You can go up some. If it costs more than you were expecting, then you still have some room in your numbers to make this still a good investment for you. If you went $10,000 down, you would be a little bit out of that range, but probably still be a relatively good investment. And why am I saying that now? You'll see when we get to this other side. Now let's go to the lender side. We saw it was good for the cash investor. Lender, 8 months, just like this one. We're going to have a couple extra numbers in here. I already wrote up here with a little squiggly line, 70% loan to value. This is how much the actual lender that I'm in contact with, hard money lender, is able to do for a relatively new flipper. So this is not a person with a large background of flipping, not a large portfolio, and these are the actual numbers they gave them. So about 150,000 LTV, that's loan to value. They'll give you 70% of how much the house will be worth at the end to work with to fix up the home and buy the home. So that's 150,500 is 70% of 215,000. So we got the numbers are the same on these first two lines. This is how much you're gonna sell it for, agency fees, closing costs, 192.8. On this side, this is rental costs, holding costs plus staging, closing costs, and buying the house. But we have those lender costs because we're using a partner. Our lender is like your investor partner. And it's gonna cost $1,000 for the loan origination. 2% of this loan cost is gonna be $3,000 that's how much they charge. And this $11,000 here is gonna come from, they charge, the rate they were giving them was 11%. So that's 11% of this number, how much they're loaning you. You get 11% of that, divided by 12, the months, and then you multiply that by how many months you expect to have the loan, which is 8 months, and that's where you get that 11,000 from. So you add all that up, you got 178 you're spending on the buying side of that, and then you subtract that from the amount that you'll be getting on the selling side, you get $14,800. And this number here is the important one. So on the cash side, all this is you putting this in. On this side, let's see how much money is actually ours that we're putting in versus how much we're leveraging. You're spending 178. The loan is giving you 150,000. So that means you're covering the difference at 28,000. $28,000 out of pocket, and you're making 14,800. So we'll go over this, even though it's above 15 to 20%. 15 to 20% is 42 to 60, $5,600 on 28,000. But at making 14,800, that would be 52%. It's like 52.8%. So nearly 53% return on your $28,000 investment. Like, man, that's great. That's a great number. Why would I do this side versus that side? It all depends on your situation. So obviously, 163,000 is a much bigger number to invest. Not everybody has that to go toward one investment to put those eggs in that one basket. That might be too large of a portion of your portfolio to put into one project. So that's why people go to the lender side, where, yes, I have 28,000 I can invest in this project, and that'll work for my numbers. But the pros and cons of each side. Pros of cash side is your numbers are bigger. The bigger numbers can be good because, like we were saying over here, you have about $10,000. You have about $10,000. You can move here and still be in this number. But you can, if you were to go, the more each dollar costs more on this lender side. Each dollar is going to have a bigger impact on this lender side. So if I was to have a swing of $10,000 here, it's going to be a much larger percent than a swing of $10,000 here. So there's some security in the bigger number, where there's bigger profits here, but it's a little bit more, it can be a little bit more risky. Let's say it took you, something happened, anything could happen, but it usually will happen. But let's say this took you a couple more months. So each month is taking you about $1,200 out, and that will start eating into your percentages. Let's say it takes you another 6 months for some reason, who knows why. So there's pros and cons of cash and lender, but this is a house that's available now. If you have the money to invest it and you wanted to reach out to me, this is something that can be possible, as long as the seller, sells it to you for that amount. Well, here's our market today and our market analysis of this home on Green Lawn. Have a good one. See you next time.